The late afternoon sun cast its amber glow across the rural highway, lighting up the fields with a soft golden haze. Marcus Reed, 28, hummed quietly along with the radio as his car cruised smoothly down the familiar back road. His sedan, aged but reliable, bore the logo of Bright Futures Books on the side, and the back seat was loaded with neatly packed boxes of children's books, all destined for a local school's reading program. In his town, Marcus was well known as the soft-spoken delivery driver who always offered a warm smile and a helping hand. Whether it was holding the door for a stranger or helping an elderly neighbor carry groceries, he had a reputation for kindness. He followed the rules. He lived a simple, honest life. But none of that would matter in the moments to come. It began with a flash of blue and red in his rearview mirror, jarring against the peaceful backdrop of the countryside. Marcus's heart skipped as he glanced at the dashboard clock 3:42 p.m. Pulling over to the shoulder, he shifted the car into park, kept his hands on the steering wheel, and waited. The patrol car door creaked open, and from it emerged a tall officer with a broad frame and mirrored sunglasses that masked his eyes. His uniform was stiff, pristine, his polished boots striking the pavement with authority as he approached. Marcus kept his gaze forward, hands visible, body language calm. "Good afternoon, officer," Marcus greeted, his voice steady. "License and registration," the officer snapped, his tone sharp, dismissive. Marcus nodded slowly, moving his hand deliberately toward the glove compartment and presenting his documents without sudden motion. The officer snatched them from his hand, lingering just a second too long as their fingers brushed. In that brief touch, Marcus sensed a tension, a hostility that went beyond procedure. "Why did you stop me, sir?" Marcus asked politely. The officer's jaw clenched. "You were speeding." Marcus blinked. "I'm certain I wasn't, officer. I just came from the other side of town, maintaining the limit." No immediate response came. The officer's lips thinned, his eyes hidden behind those reflective lenses, but Marcus could feel the weight of his stare. The silence dragged. Marcus's gut twisted. Something felt wrong. "Step out of the car," the officer ordered, voice now edged with a warning. Marcus frowned. "Excuse me? May I ask why?" "Step out of the car." The officer's hand hovered near his weapon. Marcus's instincts screamed danger. He kept his hands on the wheel, refusing to move. "I'm not resisting," Marcus said carefully. "But I deserve to know why." The officer's face flushed red as he yanked the door open, rage contorting his features. Marcus lifted his hands higher, his voice unwavering even as fear coiled in his chest. "I'm unarmed. I haven't done anything wrong." "Get out," the officer barked, stepping closer, hand now fully gripping the gun at his hip. "Sir, please." The gunshot cracked through the air, deafening in its finality. Marcus's body slumped forward, head hitting the steering wheel as blood soaked into the fabric of the seat. The smell of gunpowder mingled with the scent of the old leather interior. Boxes of children's books spilled onto the pavement, pages fluttering helplessly in the breeze. The officer muttered to himself, shaky and defensive, mumbling about self-defense, about fearing for his life. But Marcus hadn't moved. The dashcam and body cam footage would later show a man who had done everything right, whose only crime was existing in the wrong skin. The news reached Elijah Reed, Marcus's older brother, 2 days later. Elijah, 34, had just returned from his latest assignment overseas. A Navy SEAL with a service record that included some of the most dangerous operations in recent history, Elijah was a man who understood discipline, patience, and strategy. But no amount of training could prepare him for the devastation of losing his brother this way. Standing by Marcus's grave, Elijah didn't cry. His pain was silent, carved deep into the hard lines of his face. His promise to protect his younger brother, the one he had made since they were kids, now lay broken beneath 6 feet of dirt. The official statement from the police department called it self-defense. The officer, Benjamin Crowley, claimed Marcus had reached for something. But the footage told another story: a calm young man, hands visible, voice steady, pleading for answers until the final moment. Elijah had seen enough of cover-ups, enough of corruption masked as law enforcement. He knew better than to trust the system to hold Crowley accountable. The badge would protect him. It always had. But Elijah wasn't interested in revenge. He wanted the truth. And if the system wouldn't expose it, he would. Reaching out to former contacts in military intelligence, Elijah began to pull at threads, quietly and methodically. Using encrypted channels, he traced Crowley's record. What he found only deepened his resolve. Crowley had a historia trail of complaints buried under layers of bureaucracy, each one dismissed as inconclusive or settled quietly out of court. But it didn't stop there. Elijah uncovered whispers of a group known within the department as the Shield, an informal brotherhood of officers who covered for one another, cleaning up each other's messes, targeting vulnerable people, especially black men. Reports of intimidation, falsified evidence, and unprovoked violence. None of it on the official books. But Elijah was trained to find the hidden things. With the help of a trusted hacker, Elijah began digging into encrypted chats, buried files, erased records. Every piece of data painted the same damning picture. Crowley wasn't alone. He was a key player in a network of abuse protected from the top down. One officer, Joseph Myers, scheduled for retirement, showed signs of discomfort. His name came up in multiple Shield-related incidents, but lately he'd been avoiding the group's private meetings. Elijah saw his opportunity. Approaching Myers under the radar, Elijah requested a meeting neutral ground, an out-of-the-way diner where the risk of being overheard was slim. When Myers arrived, his eyes were heavy with guilt. Elijah didn't threaten. He didn't posture. He simply laid out the truth. "They killed my brother," Elijah said quietly. "And you know it. I'm not looking for blood. I'm looking for the truth. You help me, and I'll make sure your name is clear." Myers was visibly shaken but nodded slowly. "It's not just Crowley," he confessed, voice barely above a whisper. "The Shield has higher-ups in their pocket. Deputy Chief Allen has been burying complaints for years. If you go after Crowley without proof of the network, they'll bury this too." Myers provided names, dates, and critical details about meetings, cover-ups, and tactics used by the Shield to silence whistleblowers. It was the key Elijah needed. Piece by piece, the puzzle came together. Elijah gathered testimonies, recordings, hidden camera footage from Myers, and digital evidence linking Crowley and several other officers to acts of brutality. But Elijah knew the system wouldn't indict itself. He needed to make the story undeniable. Partnering with an independent journalist, Elijah planned a live-streamed confrontation. The bait was simple: arrange a meeting with Crowley under the guise of blackmail, promising to keep silent in exchange for cash. Crowley's arrogance worked in Elijah's favor, took the bait without suspicion. The rendezvous point was an abandoned warehouse chosen for its isolation. Drones hovered silently above, their cameras ready. The journalist streamed live to a growing audience. When Crowley arrived, he smirked, confident. "You think you're gonna shake me down? I'm untouchable." Elijah stood his ground, voice calm. "I'm not here for money. I'm here to show the world who you really are." He handed Crowley a flash drive loaded with damning evidence. As the officer sneered, a floodlight snapped on overhead and the drone's camera zoomed in. Thousands were already watching. "Tell them what you did to my brother," Elijah demanded. Crowley's eyes narrowed. "He was a threat. I feared for my life." "The footage shows otherwise," Elijah shot back. "Say it. Say the truth." Crowley's bravado cracked. "People like him, they're always a problem. They don't belong here." The chat exploded with outrage. The comments flooded the feed. But Crowley still reached for his weapon. A single shot rang out. Crowley dropped to the ground, clutching his leg, weapon never drawn. From the rooftop, Elijah's old squad mate, sniper Cole Ramirez, lowered his rifle. A precise, non-lethal shot. Ramirez's voice crackled in Elijah's earpiece. "I wasn't about to let him write the ending." Federal agents, already tipped off by the journalist, swept into the scene. Crowley was arrested on the spot. But the investigation didn't stop with him. The Shield, exposed by the flood of evidence, began to crumble. Deputy Chief Allen was suspended pending investigation, and the city's leadership faced mounting pressure. The fight wasn't over. But the wall of silence had finally cracked. At Marcus's memorial service, Elijah stood before the crowd, his voice steady as he spoke about his brother's kindness, his dreams, and the life stolen from him. "Marcus didn't fight hate with hate," Elijah said. "Neither will I. But we will not be silent. We will not stand by." The mural of Marcus that now adorned the city square bore the words, "The truth doesn't die. It exposes." Elijah placed Marcus's favorite keychain, a small wooden eagle, at the base of the mural. His fight wasn't done. But the world was finally watching. And this time, the truth had a voice that couldn't be silenced.